Welcome to Why Marketing Isn't Magic, where we're going to delve into the strategy and intention behind marketing and communications efforts and dispel the myths of why marketing is not easy. You wave a wand and it's hocus pocus and it happens, or we're just going to do it tomorrow and it's just going to work. Today, in this episode, I'm talking with Dethra Giles, CEO of ExecuPrep, and we're going to talk about building your team. Dethra, what's up?
Everything. I'm so excited to be here with you.
I'm excited for you to be here. You have so much knowledge I want to pull out of your head.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so I know your area of expertise is HR, CEO building, all the things. But tell me why you think on the marketing side, why do you think people have this misconception about marketing?
Because I don't think people recognize that marketing is multifaceted. They think marketing is advertising, marketing is pitching, and they don't realize marketing is all of those things coming together with intention. So you have to think about the outcome before you do anything. They just think, I'm going to advertise, people are going to come, and that's never how it works.
Furthest from the truth.
Oh my gosh.
So before we jump into it, because we're going to jump into it, tell me or tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Oh my gosh, my name is Dethra Giles. I am a wife, I am a mom, I am a daughter. I am all those, and I say those things intentionally first because I work to live, not live to work.
Yes.
And I'm the CEO of a company called ExecuPrep. We're a small HR consulting firm that goes around the world helping people optimize the performance of their people to improve performance, productivity, and profits. But before all of that,
Yes.
I'm a wife,
Yes.
I'm a mom,
Yes.
I'm a daughter.
Yes, amen to that, for sure, for sure. So really, this conversation is going to be a lot more broader than marketing, because when you talk about bringing on the right team, that's not just limited to marketing. It's
Absolutely.
any industry. Where do you think people go wrong the most, or top biggest mistake, however you want to slice and dice it?
I think, and here's a piece of it, people don't think of their people as a part of marketing. Your people represent you. When they walk out into the street and say, I work for this company, people are looking at them and saying, oh, you represent that company. That's why we have oftentimes this big backlash and people wonder, well, how can I say something on social media but get fired at work? Because that company recognizes that you are a big part of my marketing. You are representing my company. You are the reason people come to and do business with us or don't do business with us. And so forgetting that your people are a part of your marketing is a huge mistake. And when people recognize that, they will invest in their people a lot more.
You talked about investing. How does a company, because I feel like companies use the word invest and are just thinking about money and salaries, right? Let's talk about for a second, for real, what is investing in your team? What does that look like?
So this is what I love this conversation because so many, especially smaller businesses, smaller companies, entrepreneurs, I don't have the money to invest in my people. I don't have the capital. First of all, you don't have the capital to not do it because let's be clear, you waste money all the time. That little pizza party you had, no one asked for that. That was a waste of money. No, we're going to bring a trainer in. Your people did not ask for that. You waste money all the time. But investment is not just paying for conferences. It's in developing your people. There are people that come to your organization, and if you're honest, they're not going to be there forever.
Right.
We lie to ourselves. They're going to be there forever. No. Every employee has a shelf life. I teach this to my people all of the time. All of your, like food on the shelf, they have a shelf life. Your job as an employer is to extend that shelf life as long as possible, right?
Okay.
So let's say, for example, a receptionist. The average tenure of a receptionist is 18 to 24 months.
Okay. Ooh.
Now, yes. And people are shouting like, oh my gosh, that's short. That's the average life of a receptionist. Who wants to sit at your front desk, answer phones, receive them crazy people all day, every day for 50 years? They don't.
Amen.
Right? But how can I extend that? I have helped companies get a receptionist to go from 24 months to 36 months.
Okay.
How? Investment. Hey, I know you don't want to be here forever, and I know I can't keep you forever, but do you want to learn something here so you're prepared for your next role?
Okay.
You still have to be the receptionist, but do you want to learn some AV? Do you want to learn tech? Do you want to learn IT? Do you want to learn sales? Do you want to learn operations? Because I can give you, let's say, 10% of your week devoted to learning those things.
Okay.
That's an investment. Here's the thing. What you don't realize is now your receptionist is so much more knowledgeable for your clients. When they come in and ask for, I need sales. Oh, tell me what's going on. They can hear what they're saying and say, actually, you need operations. Let me get you the VP of operations because that'll solve your problem.
That's good. That's good.
That's an investment in your employee and your client services. And now you've extended that shelf life and you got you an even better employee.
But you know what I think too, people have a misconception about is, why do I want to invest in my team members, my employees, because they might go somewhere else?
Listen to me. They are going somewhere else. It is not a might. It is not a maybe. It is an absolutely so. And here's the reality. Either they're going to another company or going to another position. Either way, they're leaving the position they're in and someone else has to do it. So here's the option you have. I can have a poorly trained person just sitting there or a well-trained person on their way to the next. And so which one is going to serve you best? I would rather have a person for 6 months and be optimally trained and have the marketing, the branding that my clients know only well-trained people work there. So even when that person's gone, they keep coming back because they know me for having well-trained employees.
I love that. And I also think something you touched on, you didn't say it in this way, but what comes to mind is, in general, a lot of things are about relationships.
Absolutely.
And you can't establish good relationships if you don't have the right people.
Absolutely. Even with your people, because I can't tell you how many people have left my company and referred one of their good friends to me. Hey, Dethra, I've outgrown the company. Executive Rep is a small company. We can only have a few VPs. And if you're at a VP level, I want to help you. I've helped employees. I've gone to employees and said, your time here is up. My friend at Coca-Cola has a position open. I'm going to give you a good word in with them. Oh my gosh, Dethra, I don't want to leave you. No, it's time. But my girlfriend, she would do great here. The girlfriend was an even better employee than the one that left was.
Wow.
Because we have that level of marketing. They know I invest in them, so they trust me with their people. In turn, those people, so I have had to put employees out like, your time here is up. You got to grow and go.
Right.
I can't leave you because I've built that kind of relationship with them. And they've built that kind of relationship with my clients. My clients call, well, where's Alma? Alma's gone to another great position.
Right.
But they know whoever replaces her is going to take care of them because that's the brand we have. That's marketing for me. Invested in those employees, it's marketing when a client can call and ask where someone is because they trust them that much.
It's true. And I think all of us can attest to the fact of whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a business you interact with, you have one bad interaction. You're like, no, negative, I'm not coming back. Like, what's going on here? I will tell you something that helped me. I didn't realize what God was doing because I was praying for a long time. Lord, let me go, please. But going through a lot of bad directors, some good directors, different directors, I began taking mental notes of like, okay, I'm not going to do that. If I ever become a director, I'm not going to do that. Oh, I like that. I'm going to do that. And I think that it helped me when I was in the fire. I didn't want to be in the fire.
My gosh, no.
But it made me more appreciative about the kind of environment that I wanted to foster.
Absolutely.
Can we talk about that for a minute? I feel like people think that you're supposed to just be grateful for your check and come to work and just be happy and that's it.
And you know what? I was speaking at a conference recently, a large HR conference, and one of the things I told them is that we are, years ago, I would say 15, not even that long ago, maybe 10 years ago, we were competing with other organizations for talent. Today, we're competing against social media. Some of these kids can go off and be YouTubers and make $1 million a year. They can go and be social media influencers and make 6 figures plus get free trips, free food, free cruises, free hotel stays, free flights. And so you mean to tell me I should be grateful for your little crusty job when I could go over here and live life and make more than you will ever pay me? Absolutely not. First of all, that was always a bad marketing plan to get good employees. But in today's world, where I've been an influencer since I was 5 years old, and so now I'm getting paid $50,000 K just to put up an ad on my social media feed. Absolutely not. It's time out for you should just be happy to get a check.
So talk to the CEOs for a second.
Yes.
And people who are in administration roles and people who are at this executive level who are responsible for cultivating the environment. Talk about the shift that needs to happen from over here. And maybe they recognize that the environment isn't what they want it to be. Maybe they're still stuck, they're old school and think, people should be grateful. What do they need to be doing? What should they be considering in order to make this shift?
Here's the question I tell every executive to ask themselves.
Okay.
Would I want my child to work here?
Ooh.
If my child came home and told me their supervisor was treating them the way I hear my employees are being treated by leadership here, what would I tell my child?
Mm-hmm.
And if you would tell your child to pack up your stuff, come on home and live here till you get yourself together, but you don't have to go through that, then why would you allow it in your organization? Why would you allow, and even if it's your peers, some people are like, well, you know what, I can't control those leaders. But they're your peers. How would you address your peers? Why can't you have the conversation to say that this is inappropriate and no one should have to work under these conditions, right? No one should have to be spoken to that way. No one should have to be called that or said that to. If you wouldn't allow it for your child, why would you allow it for someone else's child?
Okay, so I love that. Let's go a little bit deeper. So, because to me, we don't really need to say anymore because a lot of people would just be like, no, pack up your stuff. So what is keeping people, leaders, executives, C-suite people from making decisions, from changing the environment? Is it fear? Like, what's happening?
Delusion.
Okay. Tell me how you really feel. Okay.
You know I'm a shooter. When you ask me, you know I'm a straight shooter.
Yes.
A lot of these people are delusional. And two things.
Okay.
One, they think, I hope it will get better. I hope they know this is not okay. I hope they'll fix their behavior. Hope was a great campaign slogan. It's a horrible management strategy. People, you don't hope away bad behavior. And so we sit behind this wall and act like if I don't see it, it's not happening. And so my team is okay. It's that team over there. What we don't realize is what we have in organizations is a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Everything that happens over here impacts me. It's like the body. I can't be, if my hand is rotting, I can be like, well, no, that's my left hand, my right hand, okay? Because it'll spread. Now my whole body is off. And so those leaders that are in their silos thinking my team is okay and protected, you are wrong. That is going to influence them. The second piece is the book. What I talk about in That's Not What I Said is conversational competence. Many people don't have the conversational competence to approach a difficult conversation.
Okay.
And what I identify as conversational competence is the ability to engage in a productive and effective conversation.
Okay.
And there's a high likelihood for disagreement.
Okay.
So when there's a likelihood for disagreement, we either flip tables over and get the police call or we crawl into a ball and just cry.
Okay.
We don't have an in-between where we can navigate this disagreement in a way that is effective and productive. And so when I see a leader that's acting up and doing stuff that I wouldn't allow done to my child, I don't know how to go to them and say, hey, let's have a conversation about that. Let me call a thing a thing. What you did was out of line, but let's talk about how we navigate this going forward.
Okay.
We don't know how to do that without saying, you out of line, and if that was my kid, I'll punch you in the face. Or, you know what, that's not my team. I don't feel like being bothered with that today. I'm going to go on about my business. We don't have an in-between, and that's why we have to deal with conversational competence.
Let's flip it for a second. I know what you call your employees, your employeepreneurs.
Yes.
So let's look at from the employeepreneur side. Let's say the employeepreneur is being called into it. Because 9 times out of 10, they are not calling a conversation, but they can. But we'll get to that later. They know they're being called, or maybe the potential to be called. How does the employeepreneur handle it? And probably what we should...
Let's break down the
employee. What's the employeepreneur? Let's break that down. Let's break that down.
Wait a minute, what? So I tell people, when I'm coaching employees, I tell them you are not an employee, you are an employeepreneur. And for me, what that means is this is someone who navigates their career like a business.
Okay.
My philosophy is you are a multi-billion-dollar organization and your career is your product, which makes you the CEO of your career. Okay. And if you are not managing your career like a CEO, you are mismanaging your most valuable product. Right? So you are not an employee, you are an employeepreneur. What does that mean? That means you treat everyone around you like a client. Your boss is a client. Your company, they're your most highest paying client. So, and that changes my perspective. When I walk in the door, you are not an annoying boss. You are a high paying client. Tell me how I can best service you, or how do I get to a point in my career where I can fire clients?
I love it.
So employeepreneurs are always like, you know what, you're a bad boss, which makes you a bad client. I don't keep bad clients. So how do I get to a point in this career where I fire this client and find a much better client?
Okay, y'all got that? Run it back. Employeepreneur. Okay, run it back so you know what it is. You are your most productive asset. Okay, you have clients. Okay, all right. Now that we got that straight, let's keep going.
Yes, and so the employeepreneur knows what I talk about in the book is called my DARE model.
Okay.
DARE stands for, this is how you create conversational competence. It's the model for creating conversational competence. It stands for describe, acknowledge, review, engage. So when there's a high likelihood for disagreement and this conversation has to happen, whether I initiate it or I'm called into it, I describe versus interpret.
Okay.
I acknowledge similarities instead of minimizing differences.
Okay.
I review the narrative I've accepted as fact. Okay. And I engage for conversation, not conversion.
Okay.
And so when we break those down, we talk about describe versus interpret. That means when I walk in the door, it's inevitable. Our mind jumps to interpretation because that's how the brain works. It takes data and it has to turn it into something, which is our interpretation. Okay. The problem is I don't know what your data went through to get to your interpretation and you don't know mine. And so the example I use is always. When I say the word always, people are like, that's 100%. No. When you say always, you don't mean 100%. You mean 90%, 80%. Some people will say 65%. But the problem is, if I mean 90 and you mean 80, we have an argument and we don't know why because we're using the same word. Because I said, Ebony, I want you to always do that. And you're like, but I do always do that. But I meant 90 and you meant 80. Okay. And now I'm saying you never do that. Right? So instead of saying always, I back up and say, you know what? We're disagreeing. When I told you I wanted you to do that always, I meant 90%. You're like, oh, that's why we disagree because I'm not doing that 90% of the time. I'm only going to be able to do it 80% of the time. Now we can have a discussion on a level playing field. Okay. Because we're describing versus interpreting. Okay. Right? Okay. Then acknowledge similarities without minimizing differences. Similarities make us comfortable. Yes. And the issue is that's where most people stop the conversation. Okay. We say things like, we pretty much agree on everything, so we're fine. Which means we stop right where we needed to keep going. Okay. Because we knew keep going was going to make us uncomfortable. And so we don't know how to ease the discomfort. We can say things like, hey, we pretty much agree on everything, but this one is a still sticking point. Okay. Let's talk about how we navigate around this area, this small area, because this is good. But let's get this right so it doesn't become a problem for us in the future. Okay. Right? And then one of the hardest pieces of this model is that third part. Okay. Review the narrative you have accepted as fact. Ooh, and it's so difficult because how often do you feel the need to review a fact? Right. Especially something you've been learning since you were, think about us. We learned that Pluto was a planet. And then one day somebody just popped up and because it's Tuesday, it's not. Right. I've been saying that for 40 years. Exactly. What you mean it's not a planet? And so you have somebody that's old and like, no, I don't care what you say. Pluto's a planet. Exactly. And when you ask them like, you got the number of planets wrong, granddad. I don't care what y'all, these new people. How many of us had to teach new math? So how
don't even start.
See?
Carry it.
See?
I don't know what this regrouping is. I don't have time for that. Carry it.
See? This is why it's the hardest part because the things that we've accepted as fact, they are core to who we are. It challenges our essence of being. So you mean to tell me I've been good at math my whole life and now you're going to tell me I can't teach my kid math? Yes. I'm a mathematician. Listen, I have a PhD in math. And sorry, mathematicians, I have a PhD in arithmetic, mathematics. Right. And you're going to tell me I can't teach a kindergartner how to add?
It's insulting.
And that's why that R is the most difficult piece. When we're in a disagreement, we walk in with some ideas that we have as fact. Okay. And it's hard for us to challenge that because in many instances, it's insulting. I've been in this company for 30 years. You ain't even 30 years old. How you gonna tell me how stuff work here? Right. What's this AI? I've been writing stuff. I was an English major. How you gonna tell me to put my writing
in AI?
I can write my own emails. Okay. And so it's an affront to who we see ourselves as. But if we're going to engage for conversational competence, we have to be willing to review that narrative because we're not saying it's wrong. We're just saying it may not be right now.
So, Dethra, how do we do that? Like practically, how do we, something you have seen as a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And now, because essentially what I hear you saying is, if I'm an employeepreneur, I really need to go in with an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I know that too can be its own thing. Like, what is an open mind? How do you move to a place of, this is fact, let's do it differently, to, I'm going to review the narrative that I have accepted as fact.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get there?
So you do it by conversation. So I don't walk into every conversation like, oh, every fact I know may be a lie. I go into this conversation and say, what's the fact that may get us hung up and prevent productivity in this conversation? So I may walk in saying, let's say, for example, let's take it out of work. I'm going into a parent-teacher conference with my child.
Okay.
They've been struggling in math. What is the fact that may get us hung up from having a productive conversation? It's my idea around old math is fine math.
Right.
And so I'm gonna walk into this conversation able to review that narrative.
Okay.
Say, you know what, I'm gonna give you a minute because I see my child is struggling, and I've been the one helping them with their homework.
Right.
And they keep messing up on this homework. So if I'm going to be productive, here's the thing: productivity and getting what I want are not synonymous.
Say that again.
Productivity and getting what I want are not synonymous.
Okay.
And I tell people there is a great way to lose, and we don't entertain that. Prime example, in this situation, I want my child to get an A in math because I know they're brilliant with numbers.
Right.
But they're not showing their brilliance because they're using my way.
Okay.
Winning is having them do math my way. Getting what's productive is having them show their brilliance to get an A in this class. And that's not going to be doing math my way.
We ought to shut the front door, teacher. We ought to shut. Okay. All right. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Let's bring it back to work for a second, because I feel like there's a lot of conflict and tension around work.
Absolutely.
For a number of reasons. Some warranted, some not warranted. We can't even say one more on the other side, one on the other side. I'm going to say just anecdotal numbers, because generally in an organization, there are fewer executives. They're probably out there, people watching. There's fewer executives and maybe more employeepreneurs watching. How do we help employeepreneurs navigate when there is tension, when there is friction? And if we need to give a specific example, we can. Because I feel like we see, and this is a very gross overview, either people will grin and bear it, or they come out swinging, and you come out on 20, and that's not going to do anything for anybody. Can we talk about that for a second?
Yes. So I love this conversation because you're right. So many people are like, why do I have the reputation of always saying something? Because you always say something.
Yeah.
But then you have the other people, why do they walk all over me? Because you never say anything. How do you find the middle ground? One, so many employees do not navigate their career with intention.
Okay.
They have no clue where they're going, and because they don't know where they're going, they end up somewhere they didn't want to be because someone told them to be there, and they end up just doing anything just because.
Okay.
The people that have intention in their career, they do a few things. Number one, they get the right sponsors, mentors, and advocates.
Okay.
Number two, they know who should know what they know and who should know who they are.
Okay.
When you do those things, you don't have to say something all the time. You're very clear when you say something at the right time.
Okay.
Right? And you have your people that are in your corner who you can go to and say, hey, this situation rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not quite sure if I should say something about this or not. And those people can say, you absolutely should, or no, be quiet. I got it handled behind the scenes. Or you should, but let me help guide you on how to say this in this environment.
Okay.
But that's because they're intentional. When you're intentional, you put the right people around you that give you the right guidance. Because when you have the right mentors, their hindsight is your foresight.
Ooh,
right?
That's good.
Their job is, if I did it in 10 years, I tell all my mentees, as a mentor, if I did it in 10 years, I'm not a good mentor if it takes you 10 years.
Exactly.
It should take you 5 because I already saw it. My hindsight, I'm looking back, but I tell you what I've already been through.
Yes.
Baby, it's a pothole there. take the other street. It seems like it's a longer way, but I promise you, when you get down there, it's really a detour, not a shortcut.
Amen to that.
Right? And so when you're intentional, you can put those people around you that can help guide you through that.
Okay, I love that. Teacher, for a second, I want to talk to leaders and executives.
Oh, yes.
And even people who lead small teams. Because as I was saying before, what really helped me was going through all of those different kinds of bosses, directors, and also I will say, it meant more when I stepped into a position of leadership.
Absolutely.
It meant a whole lot more because I had gone through all these things. It wasn't handed to me. And so you have that going on. And I will say, in part, I started with, it was just me and maybe two other people, taking time to build the team helped me because I began to think about, what kind of environment do I want? I knew what I liked and didn't like when I was on the other side. I think people forget. Like, they forget they have kids.
Oh, my goodness.
They forget that, you know, what it was like when you got kids, you got to pick people up. I remember my car wasn't working. I'm digressing for a second, but just hold on a second. I'm getting there. So I remember I did not have a car. My car went down. My kids were in 3 different schools. I had to get on the bus, to take the train, to get on another bus, to take him to school, to get back on the bus and the train to get to work. Obviously, I didn't choose that. I did not feel like I was seen in that moment. And in that moment, and granted, it might have been what you normally do. What you normally do is like, well, make sure you get your work done. I don't remember what the conversation was, but I remember feeling like really disheartened, like, haven't I shown that I am going to do my work, that I'm going to show up, whether it's after hours or before hours? And so there are these pockets of things that stuck with me. And I know that some people are afraid. They're afraid that if they show some favoritism, if they show some goodwill, people are going to take advantage of it. But I knew what kind of worker I was. I say all that to say, I had to be intentional, even when I was uncomfortable, if I know a team member works hard and this situation I don't like, I'm going to give them some grace. Because one, I don't know everything on the other side. 2, this situation is going to come and this go. How much is me responding in this situation worth me losing this person? So, okay, I know I probably answered the question, but I had to get that off my chest.
Here's what I will say though, and I will challenge a little bit, and this is going to sound crazy, but let me cook. I tell people as leaders, we should never be extending goodwill. We should always be honoring value. And what you saw in your situation was, I'm not asking you for anything. I'm just asking you to honor what I've already demonstrated. Even if I don't normally I'm here at 8 o'clock. Life is crazy right now. I'm getting here at 8:30. But you have seen me go above and beyond. There is nothing in my repertoire that tells you are not going to get the value. Right? There is nothing in your experience of me that tells you are not going to get more value than what you're let's be clear, I'm underpaid. And you're getting way more than you're giving. So don't treat me like that's not the scenario. Right? And that's all you were saying. Like, I don't need you to give me anything. Right. I need you to honor the fact that I've given you so much. And that's what every leader should be doing. We should be honoring the value that people have already added and saying, hey, this is not normally what would be going on, but I honor what you've already done. This is why I tell employeepreneurs, show out consistently so that when there's an issue, no one questions, you know what, let's help them out a little bit because we've already gotten way more than we've given them. Hey, I see things a little bit crazy. Tell me what you need. Well, I need to switch my hours to come in 8:30 instead of 8 o'clock. Got it. Because I know you're going to give me an extra hour instead of an extra 30 minutes. Right?
Exactly.
And so it's honoring the value that's already been added.
Okay. Let's talk real quick for a minute about how people should be building their team. Whether they have a small team, whether they're building an organization. I feel like this is where people go wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Can we talk about that real quick?
They mess it up.
What should people be doing? What should they be taking into consideration?
People mess this up so badly, especially small businesses.
Okay.
When Tony Hsieh, I don't know if you know Tony Hsieh is, but he was the founder of Zappos, which got bought by Amazon eventually. And Tony Hsieh had a company that he sold to Microsoft for, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think about $25 million. And he said that company was a failure. And I said, baby.
If you got $25 million,
Lord, can you please set me up to sell my failures for $25 million?
Hello, I'll take it.
Because if a failure got sold for 25, but what he said was, I hired for talent, not for culture.
Right.
So I had the best whatever, but I had horrible people. And the culture was a place, my dream became a nightmare because I hired the wrong people.
Okay.
Right? People think, let me hire the best. I need the best accountant. I need the brightest lawyers. And they are horrible for your team, for your environment. It's like I tell people, think about the restaurant that you love the best.
Yeah.
Like, and hey, Jamaicans, I'm Jamaican. And everybody knows the thing about Jamaican restaurants. But you're going to keep going because it's consistent. Like, okay, I already know you. I know you love me. Like, we don't have that, but this is what we do have.
Right.
Like, you will go to a restaurant just because there's consistent and good service for a place that has great food. Like, I don't want to go here if y'all got good food, but
your service is crappy.
How many of us go to, like, mediocre restaurants because, I love June over there. I love me some June. Like, the food is okay, but June is amazing. And so think about what you want your culture to be before you bring in just random greatness. Because here's what I can teach. I can teach you how to keep the books. I can't teach you to be a good person.
That's the truth, though. It's true.
Yeah.
Some things are not, it's either who you are or who you're not.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does a company hire for culture? Where do they start?
First of all, know what the culture is.
Okay.
And
what culture you want.
Yes.
Okay.
Know what culture and here's the thing. I'm not saying have one or the other. I'm just saying know what it is. Because some companies are like, I don't care about y'all being nice. Get this money.
Okay.
Make these sales. Go home. This is not a family.
Okay. Okay.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
But don't hire the people that come looking for a family and community.
That's true.
Don't hire those people. Like, oh, they're so nice. Let's hire them. Why? So you can mess them up? Don't do that. Don't do that. But if you know this is a family environment, but you found someone and, they were the top salesperson over there. I want to get them over here. And you know they're cutthroat.
Okay.
You know they don't care about relationships. You know they don't care about people. All they care about is closing the deal. And now you're upset because they come in and they're cutthroat.
Right.
Right.
But that's who they were.
First of all, establish your culture and stick to it no matter what.
Okay.
No amount of money is worth sacrificing your culture.
That's true.
Because we think about it, the model for that is Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
Everyone's like, well, how do they know how much money they can make being open on Sundays? Do you think these people that dumb?
They don't care.
They can add.
Exactly.
It's simple math. They know how much they make Monday, Tuesday, all the way to Saturday. So they can calculate.
And we all stay in line so that we can go to Chick-fil-A. So please stop.
And how many times have you woke up on a Sunday, forgot it was Sunday,
and went to
Chick-fil-A?
Right.
And was like, that's how you knew it was Sunday because you got there.
And it was closed. And you went back on Monday. But you know what the other side to that coin is? How much do the employees appreciate that the whole place is closed on Sunday?
You know what that means? That means my boss is not calling me.
Yep.
That means ain't nobody gonna not show up to work and I might have to get called in. I have to decide, is it good for my career to go in on Sunday or say no? But they did that. That was an afterthought. Their culture was the first thought.
Okay, right. Yes. Yes.
And now we're building this whole thing around our culture. And what does that mean? That means sometimes you may have to sacrifice the money to keep the culture. But the culture comes first.
Yes. I just dare to argue that even if in the beginning you sacrifice the money for the culture, that money gonna come back around.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether you were trying to get it or
Absolutely.
not. Because the culture and people showing up happy to work every day is going to multiply and give dividends in seeds that you sold other places.
And the reason I say the money part is because you will have money opportunities to violate your culture before your culture starts to make you money.
Okay. Okay.
You will have, and the thing you have to decide is, because even as a small business owner myself, so I'm preaching to the choir. I am an entrepreneur that started a business in 2007 and had to watch it grow. And there were certain clients, we said, we're just not working with those clients.
Okay.
And those clients showed up at our doorstep with big checks where money was tight. And it was like, do we violate the culture Or do we stick to our guns and reject that money and hope and pray that it comes back later on? And it did, but at that time, we didn't know. We had to make a decision about keeping to our culture.
Okay, here is your challenge. Are you ready?
Okay.
So I've been drinking natural sodas recently. I found this recipe for natural soda, just trying to change some things around. So your challenge, if you are willing to accept it, is you are going to try, which flavor did you pick?
Strawberry.
You are going to try a natural version of a strawberry soda.
Okay.
And then you're going to pitch it.
Okay.
We're going to do it together. Okay. And I'm going to give you your audience demographic. Okay, thank you.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, that's tasty.
And it's light. I like it.
I do.
You want to know what's in it?
Yes.
Strawberries, agave, passion fruit, sparkling water. That's it. That's it.
Oh, that's good.
No high fructose corn syrup.
So now how'd you get the strawberry flavor?
I'm juiced strawberries. And if you really want to kick it up a notch, you can use strawberry sparkling water to kick it up even more. But I just use natural strawberries. It's like that's not a concentrate, but it is the juice from some strawberry, probably about a carton where you break it down, maybe less. And then add the agave, mix it up, put that sparkling water in there. That's what you got.
I like that. Because my kids weren't allowed to drink soda growing up. And when they got older, they were like, oh, this soda stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Okay, pick
like
your demographic.
Okay.
Who you got?
Adventurous retirees.
Is that right up your alley or what? So pitch this to yourself. Okay.
Okay, let me think. I got to pitch it to retirees. Okay. If you are at this age and you still look as good as you do, because let's be clear, you are not sitting on your couch. You are not keeping your grandkids for somebody else. You are out there hiking mountains, going through trails, jumping out of airplanes, but you still want a little bit of flavor, but you've kept your body up. So you can't have all this high fructose corn syrup, dyes, but you still like a little bit of fizz every now and then. And what most would want a pop or a soda. You need to try this natural soda. It is all natural ingredients, so agave, natural strawberries, all these things that are healthy ingredients for you, but with a little bit of kick. So just add a little to your hydration these days and get you a natural strawberry soda.
I'm loving it. You killed it. Okay, for a second, real quick. So you did a pitch. No, you're not in marketing per se, but you are, right? Because you market your company. How are we pitching and we don't even realize we're pitching?
Oh my gosh, this is my question because people look at me and I can't tell you how often I walk down the street and people ask me, are you in fashion? And I'm like, no, I'm a boring CEO. But here's the reality. This is my brand. And your brand should do two things. It should attract the people that are for you and repel the people that are not. And so there are people that will see me and think, oh, I don't want a CEO like that in my company. That's too extra. Cool. I don't want to be there.
Okay.
But the people that see me and think there's something about her that we need in this company. And so just even visually, when they see you, you are a walking brand. When people see me, this is what you see right here. That's the personality. That's the engagement. That's the energy that's coming into your organization when you bring us in. And now I'm pitching just by walking in the room.
And I love that it should either attract or repel.
Absolutely.
It's okay if people, those aren't the clients we want, and then bringing it back around to the employee-preneur, you're pitching every time you walk in. You're pitching to your clients.
Every single time.
You're pitching, and it's in a different kind of way. But I think people mistake how I show up in multifaceted ways. My presentation, my communication, my work ethic, all these things are pitching whether I should continue to be here, get a promotion, all the things, right?
All the time. And people don't realize that every move you're making is a conversation for someone.
Yes.
And here's what you don't realize. It's a conversation that you don't even get to be a part of. And so the question is, what are they saying without you saying anything? So all of your actions are walking billboards.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so listen, before we get out of here, I want to talk about hybrid work.
Oh, yes.
I feel like people are stuck. I feel like the pandemic should have been a reset or was a reset or a change or whatever. And I remember you saying something a while ago about some people who manage or companies think that if people are in person, they're managing them better. And your response was, you got people who are in person who are not working. It's not a location problem. It's a management problem.
And here is what the pandemic did. It exposed.
Mm-hmm.
And what we've done as a result, instead of taking that exposure and doing something about it, we blamed it. Oh, the pandemic this. No, the pandemic exposed that you had poor managers. Because here, think about it. You have global companies. You mean to tell me the person over in the U.S. managing the China division of GE need to be in person?
Okay.
They can't see them people every day. They can't even be on calls at the same time half the time. And GE in China is not failing. We've always done this separately. And we act as if the pandemic sparked something new. This was not our first time not being able to be on site and managing. So if you're not managing based on outcomes, but on presence, you don't know what people are doing.
That's true.
People have been scapegoating work since the beginning of the time.
Isn't that the truth?
This is not a new phenomenon. Oh, they're at home not doing work. Maybe they're here not doing work.
So what does the manager or company or C-suite do? What do they do?
They manage based on outcomes. We know, Ebony, by the end of the week, you should be able to produce X. Now, if you produce X in 40 hours or 5 hours, I don't care. I'm just responsible for making sure that X comes back.
Okay.
Now, here's what I know. Because HR has mapped this out, I know that your duty should take you about 40 hours to accomplish. But I'm not sitting over you making sure you do it, because here's the reality. You know, as a leader, you have your own duties.
Exactly.
If as a leader, you're standing over them, when your work getting done?
Exactly. Exactly.
When are you supposed to do what you have to do? Because managing them is only a portion of your job description. You have duties of your own. And so good leaders, get your job as a leader is to get your people what they need to perform at their optimal level and get out of their way. That's your only job. Go get them the resources they need to perform at their optimal level and get out of their way.
Okay.
Because if you have to tell them what to do, then why are they there?
Now, you know what? We could go on another 30 minutes about that, because I agree. I'm with you. I want you to speak to CEOs, as a person who coaches CEOs and coaches organizations, does all the things. I want you to make the case for why hybrid is a good thing, not a bad thing.
Hybrid is a great thing because it gives you the ability to get FaceTime, because that's why we want to be there. FaceTime builds relationships, it builds camaraderie, it builds this symbiosis that we want people working together. And the truth is, people work better with people they like, know, and trust, right?
Okay.
It changes things. And so that you can't replace that FaceTime. But also, there's so many people in the population that get so much work done. Even as an individual, think about how much work you get done when there's not someone popping over to your desk every day. Because if you're in the office, let me run over there real quick. Actually, you could have thought about that a few more minutes and handled that on your own.
You could have thought about that for 30 seconds and handled it on your own.
Or, if I'm not here, you know what you would have did? You would have went to my last email, put my name in the search file, and instead of me saying per my last email, you would have found my last email if I wasn't here.
Amen.
Right? And so there's this uninterrupted time that studies show us. I mean, you have HBR, Harvard Business Review. You have all these studies, psychology studies, all these studies showing the amount of innovation and creativity and productivity that happens in uninterrupted time. That does not often happen inside the office. It happens when you're at home. Here's what people think. They think you're at home, keeping your kids, walking the dog, watching soap operas. What they don't realize is you're probably at home, you rolled out of bed, brushed your teeth, went straight to work, forgot to pee, forgot to use the bathroom, forgot to eat, and you looked up and the kids were coming home, and you have gotten all this work done because no one was bothering.
Exactly. Or I did go walk the dog and I did go take my kids to school, but I got all my work done and more because there were no interruptions.
And because the dog walking is actually a mental break that makes you more productive. In the office, you don't think about, okay, I can take these productivity breaks, because studies also show us if you break up work, even at 15 minutes, if you break up an hour, work 4 hours straight, you are less productive than when you work an hour, take a break, work an hour, take a break.
Okay.
Significantly less productive.
Wow. Okay.
Going a 4-hour stretch with no breaks or going an hour taking breaks.
Okay.
When you're home, you do more of that. Your mind says, I need a break.
Yes. Yes.
You get a break and you come back and you're more productive after the break. That doesn't happen in the office. Because in the office, they're watching you so hard. What you want? Well, you were gone for 30 minutes. You gonna give us that time back?
Right.
No. What I'm gonna do is be more productive after the 30 minutes
Absolutely.
than I was before.
For sure. Stop micromanaging your people. Stop it. They are grown adults. Okay, listen, before we go, because we're going to have you back and do a whole nother episode or something
Absolutely.
else. So look, I want you to share with us, how can people reach you? Where can they find you? And tell us about the book.
No. So everyone can always find me on Instagram at Dethra_Giles. That is DETHRA_GILES. All of my employeepreneurs, you know, we talked about it. You find me on LinkedIn. There, I'm Dethra Giles. And you have to absolutely get a copy of That's Not What I Said, How to Master Conflict with Conversational Competence. In here, I talk about everything from how to ask your boss for a raise to how to address the family predator at Thanksgiving.
Ooh!
Yes. We talk about all the tough topics because that's what matters. We talk about the conversations that matter. And so you can find that on my website, DetraGiles.com, or at 3G Publishing.
Okay, I love it. And so what we might do right now is do a quick outtake, not outtake, but I love what I heard you say the other day when you were saying, if you know that your things aren't going so well at your company, initiate an exit conversation.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I don't know what to tell us real quick.
Here's the reality. My background is, though I'm a CEO now, I used to be a chief HR officer running HR for organizations. And so I've seen everything. I've hired everyone from janitors to presidents and saw everything in between. And I've seen too many people leave organizations and leave money on the table because they're fighting to be somewhere they don't want to be and they don't want them there. And it's like a bad relationship. No one wants to call it quits when both of y'all know it's over. Instead of doing that, many people can go approach and say, hey, this is not working out so well. Let's have an exit conversation so that you can exit with dignity.
Yes.
Being walked out by the police with your stuff in boxes is not dignified. And that's what many people are on their way to, right? And so it's sitting down and being able to have the conversation intelligently, competently, calmly. Hey, this is not working out. What does it look like for us to end this situation professionally? Here are some things I can propose. I have a project going on. I can leave a project guideline. There's a lot of information I have that no one else has. I can do a knowledge transfer document. But let's talk about what that looks like. Because here's the reality. They want you gone too. And so when you propose, hey, let's end this well. Then everybody's like, oh, we won't get sued. We think we can have them sign something. This works out great. Now, here's the deal. If you know.
I know where you're going. Say it.
You don't add value. And they just really want you to leave, this is not a conversation for you to have.
Right.
You need to find your way out and leave. But if you know I'm a person of value, it's not working out, but they know I have value and they do not need me just walking out this door.
Right.
Then now let's sit down and have this conversation.
I love it. Dethra, thank you so much. Always good to see you. All right, y'all. That's a wrap for this episode of Why Marketing Isn't Magic. Dethra gave you her digits, her info. Go look her up. Go find her. You employeepreneurs on LinkedIn. You want to learn more about Downtown DC? Go to www.downtowndc.org. I hope to see you in downtown. See you next time.